Yo, what's up? It's Someone That's Someone, and welcome back to another story time. First and foremost, thank you for 22,000 subscribers. As per every 1,000, we drop another story time, and here we are exactly with that. Things have been awesome with the channel lately. I've been having a great time making videos, talking to everyone, and just been excited for what we got coming up. And just to let you know what's up with me, I am currently in the process of moving again, so I have been pretty busy, but expect content to roll out at a regular pace. But if things do get a little slow next month, that's probably the reason why. Besides that, I've been really focused on just going in hard with the channel and focusing on the good things in life. I'm happily in a relationship, got good friends, I'm excited for some warm weather, some good ass smoke sessions to be had, some good trips and experiences. There's a lot of great things I feel like to be thankful for and to look forward to. Of course, I wish you all the same out there, so here's to making the most of things and living our best life. But let's get into today's story. You guys voted this to see next, as there's only 2 stories left in this playlist. Chapter 1, Beginnings of a Psychonaut. Chapter 1, Beginnings of a Psychonaut is a segment of my life where I was introduced to different substances that eventually led me to my current interest in psychonautics. It's a bunch of stories of my first time trying a substance, whether that was intentional or not. If you've seen other episodes in this series, then you know a good chunk of this playlist features my good friend Evan. When we were younger, he and I took an active step in trying new substances. It was an introductory period for both of us in many ways, but more so for me. Evan probably has a whole chapter himself before this, but for me, this was really just where I stepped into the world of substance use, and things would change forever. But this playlist contains more than just that active step, as there would be other aspects that will lead me to this step. Some of the first few episodes are of substances outside of this step. That is, substances I came into contact naturally, you could say. For example, my first recreational substance was lean, and of course, I had also tried alcohol and cannabis too. Caffeine is another, which this is probably most people's first ever substance. And technically, caffeine may have come before this, but of course I never saw it as a high or as anything with strong recreational potential. But as you see in the title, we're getting into my first attempt to get high on anything, and that was when I tried Sniffing Germ-X. So this won't be anything long or in-depth by any means, but I'm going to explain my best why and how this went down. And we'll get into the act of sniffing hand sanitizer a bit. But this happened way back in elementary school, which I would act up a lot, but was pretty cool with everyone despite this. I remember it would be a blast with friends, just fucking around doing little kid shit. Whether that be in gym, acting a fool in class, lunch, recess, it would be a decent time for the most part, I remember. Now when this happened, I'm pretty sure it was in the 4th grade. It may have been the 3rd grade, because a lot of the same people were in my class those years, but either way, I was only like 9 or 10 at the time. I didn't have any interest, or thought really, as to doing drugs. I really just didn't see the point of them at the time, being a young kid and all. I thought life itself was so full of things, it just never crossed my mind. Plus there were also biases at the time that influenced that. And I would say my friends at school were pretty much the same way. We were just invested in having fun. But one day after lunch or whatever, one of my friends at the time brings something up. I guess you can say this is a way little kids can be influenced to do some stupid shit like this, trying to find a high. But this dude Christopher, he was talking in our group about how his older brother and his friends had mentioned something about sniffing Germ-X and getting a high out of it, which none of us had heard before. I remember it was brought up because it contains alcohol, so to our logic, then it must get you high. So dumb. But you could say we were intrigued, but none of us were ballsy enough to do it. But me, that is. None of us really had our safety in mind either, or whether it was dangerous or not at all. We figured, well, it's just hand sanitizer, and it's not like we're actually consuming it. And I think my friends at the time were just scared to cross that line, the line between living sober and doing drugs. Which honestly, I kinda had that hesitation too, and I don't think I would have done it if I didn't feel some kind of peer pressure at the time. But that was mostly mental. No one was trying to get anyone to sniff anything. It was just brought up, and I jumped on the opportunity to try it and see what's up. So I remember after lunch and getting back to homeroom, I snagged a couple of squirts of Germ-X off the teacher's desk. I then went to sit down next to Christopher and proceeded to sniff the shit out of it. Like I huffed this shit really good, because I really didn't expect anything was going to happen from it. I remember I was showing my friends that I was trying it out, which I think our teacher was standing outside talking to someone the first few minutes of class while this went down. And really when I was doing it, I remember it wasn't driven by social pressure that much as I wanted to just see what would happen. But I ended up sniffing it, which I remember it smelling pretty similar to alcohol, but like cleaner of course. And after a few minutes of this, and then the teacher coming back, I applied the rest to my hands. Now nothing really happens right away. It takes a few minutes. Then out of nowhere, I just get the biggest headache along with the biggest stomach ache ever. It's like 1 second I'm fine, and then the next, I'm just hurled over in my seat with my head down. I knew I had fucked up, and I was pretty much out of it for the next half hour or so. This being a long time ago, it's hard to describe exactly how this felt, but I do remember just feeling sick and very groggy. A couple friends asked me what's up throughout this, and I can barely lift my head to tell them I fucked up by trying to get high off of Germ-X, which of course they would laugh to. I think the teacher noticed something was up, but probably thought I just had a bad lunch or something. Thankfully during this, there was a lesson going on, so I didn't have to be present like that. But yeah, that's pretty much what went down. I felt like an idiot pretty much for trying to do that and get high off a cleaner. I knew at the very least at the time that my brain cells were probably getting killed off, and that's why I felt like such shit. That's something that our teachers would tell us, so no one would drink it. Which, technically yes, this is what you can expect. You could align hand sanitizer with alcohol, since hand sanitizers are 60 to 65% alcohol, which research does show alcohol can be toxic. Specifically, huffing alcohol fumes is known to cause things like headaches and nausea, the main symptoms I experienced. But with sniffing, it could also cause damage to the mucous membranes. There's also other chemicals in Germ-X that could be playing a role. For example, there's one known as phenol, which could influence respiratory arrest. And these fumes can also cause oxygen deprivation, a common effect with some inhalants, which not only can be dangerous, but this can also be responsible for the so-called high some may get. But thankfully, nothing bad came of this. I pretty much just felt sick for a half hour or so, and went on with my day and my life. I had no interest in trying that again, or really trying anything at all, as nothing really ever came up until later in my life. But this is a memory that does stick out to me, as it is technically my first time trying to get high. This also does show how dumb you can be as a kid, and how you gotta be careful sometimes, parents included. As a kid, you may just hear some false or shoddy information about a high, and then all of a sudden, they're consuming some kind of cleaner. So when it is available like that, and with the wrong info, is when it can be dangerous. It's hard to say exactly how this influenced my psychonautics, but in a sense, it definitely does paint a kind of behavior I think is important. But we're going to end things there for today. Like I said, this wasn't going to be anything long or in-depth, as this happened a long time ago, and not a ton happened. But if you enjoyed this story and want to hear some more of mine, you already know, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. At 23,000, we'll drop another. Thank you again for being here. Feel free to check out our other content, send in a report, check out the Discord, Patreon, socials, or whatever. It's been Someone That's Someone, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.